Hello, everybody. Let's see if, yeah, inclusion that okay. Yeah, maybe you could give me. Let me welcome a few people. Then we'll put it off for it. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm in black today, all black. I have a little dot there too, so smoothing it. I always talk about people wearing all black. That's why. But I'm African today, so that's why. Oluwatosin Adelaja is here. Mesonge, Mesonge, Innocent. Fawibe, Emmanuel Edwin, Basintia, Sally Adai, Gina, Larry. Welcome, welcome everyone.
Pastor Wellington.
Olugbile, Pastor Wellington is there? Yes. Oh, okay. I've not seen him yet. Oh, Pastor Wellington, yes. Yomi Jekede is here. Blessing, Justin Mayo, yes. Welcome everyone. Welcome and go invite everybody. Yeah, more than Kushit, but Kushit, electrician, let's go to present of us. Yeah, more than you exactly. Okay. So here we are after the HMT. Can you believe it? HMT is over. What a life. How much percentage did I do? Did I do 50%? How much percentage did I do? Maybe 50% of the messages that I gave. Hello, peace. Don't carry the share. Don't carry the share. You are a coin. Come here. We'll just sit you down without the share. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Give that girl. You are not as attractive and beautiful as her. So we'll just displace you, and that's what we'll do. Oh, you mind? Oh, you don't mind?
I don't mind.
You mind, eh?
I don't mind.
It became converted very much. She's Peace. I don't know. Some of you recognize Peace, or you might not recognize her.
Yeah.
You recognize her?
Yeah.
She's having a show of her own. She's always active on Facebook, doing different programs. Yeah, live broadcast and different topics. She is very dynamic. One of the most dynamic people we have, on the Facebook. Yeah, she's very good. So if you want, I think after we finish, or maybe while she will talk, she'll mention her name or something. But she didn't come for the HMT, but she's always there. She lives in Ukraine here, but not in Kiev. She comes from another city in the Ukraine. Yeah, it's called Dnipro. Yeah, so that's where she comes from. You know what? I still want to bring you closer. Is it possible? Is it possible? You're not afraid of me?
No.
Huh? Then you too come. All of you, you're not afraid of coming closer? Yeah, you need to go closer to us. Yeah, good. I'm going to help you out. That's not the way to do it. Yes. So that when you talk, we could hear you talk. Because you are so far from the camera. Yeah. Okay. Babush, where are you sitting? Oh, you are not going to. What about you?
We're going to be around this province.
Okay, because I want, if you need to talk so that you don't.
Yeah, we'll come forward.
You are not, maybe it's better here because this place, then you can easily stand up and talk. Okay, guys. So we just finished the HMT and the topics that I plan to, how many? I plan to speak about 20-something topics on 23, 20, huh? Yes, I plan to speak on 23 topics, But I ended up speaking on how many? 8? 9? 8. Maybe I spoke on 8 or maximum 10. Maybe 10. So that is less than half of the HMT topics. There's so much that I think. What shit? I'm watching bleachers there. So we you know, but I think what we had was enough anyway. It was good enough for anybody who wanted to learn, and we got some ideas about how we could influence Nigeria and Africa and any developing country, how we could contribute and, you know, play our role to make the world a better place. So, but I remember your story, Maxine. Now, the story of Maxine is that she told God, I'm so tired of all these manipulations in the churches. These people locking me down, locking my potentials down. And she said, take me home, because she thought from one church to the other is the same thing. To another church, the same thing. To another church is the same thing. So if all these things are repeating the same way and the same place, maybe there will never be a change. And then she said, God, just take me home. I would rather die. And when she wrote that, and she went to sleep, next day, or a few days later, maybe next day, somebody sent her the link to DSA family. So even though we are not a church, but she doesn't want to die anymore. Do you still want to die?
No.
Do you still want to die? Tell us about it, or do you have to speak louder now because you are far from the camera?
I'm Maxine Jacobs from New York, and I had my encounter serving God, but under the influence of cultism and egocentrism, and also psychopathic, being a psychopath, or not me being the psychopath, but the environment was toxic with psychopathic action. And I didn't understand it. I'm making this relation and connection because I've learned it now. I've been attending one church for over almost 24 years. At my best time of my life, believing that I'm being covered by God. Under the doctrine that was presented to me of knowing that the pastor is going to talk to God and then talk to me. So
yeah, because that's the problem, and that is the syncretism we are talking about. The pastors put themselves closer to God. So God is here, the pastors are here, and then you are somewhere there.
Yes.
No, I think the way it is actually is God is there, church is, you know, the pastor is here, church is here, and then you are somewhere there in the church. So, but that is the syncretism that we are talking about. That is the format of African paganism. That is African traditional religion. In African traditional religion, you have God, then you have the deities, and you know, and then the gods, and then the ancestral spirits, and then you are nobody. And that's what we see that the churches are duplicating. But this happening in New York. Is it an African church?
yes, it's in New York, and it's under the African church with the apostle. I knew him when he was evangelist till he excelled up to being an apostle. And it's in New York, Queens, New York. Universal Calvary Church.
Calvary Church.
Yeah, Universal Calvary in the the thought of Jesus going to Calvary. So that was my acceptance that this is a real church, for knowing that we will be always focusing on Jesus. That was
no
my
problem
belief.
with names. We always do good with
Yes,
names.
yes. So I was under the impression that I'm in the right circle where we all, I'm looking at everybody else and thinking that they're all focusing on Jesus, like myself, knowing that God says, no one come to me unless they go to Jesus Christ. But not knowing that it was just like a sign on the wall, a street sign. for you to know that you're coming to Kiev and you see Kiev in Ukraine air, and you wouldn't go to the direction Russia because you're looking for Kiev. So therefore, I stayed within it, even though I was seeing different things happening. I fill up the church. I can say I fill up the church. I take the tracts out and I speak to people, and I go for them in my own vehicle, sometimes clean them up, and I bring them to church. And then after, the people start to get very upset with me and talking to me very bad, and I don't know what is happening, but my mind was centered on focusing on God, and I'm believing that I'm doing good to the people, but they were seeing something else that I was not paying attention to.
What were they saying?
They were saying that they don't want to come back there, this man, whatever, and they're saying, making gesture about things that they want money, and so I'm like, but you have to pay your offering, and innocently saying all these things to the people to encourage them to be there. But because I am not understanding that it is causing pain to them, I'm like comfortable in my skin knowing that I go to work, I pay my offering. If I'm late in my tithes, I pay another 10% on it, because if this week I didn't pay my tithes, the next week I have to put 10% more on the tithes.
Why?
So because I am late.
Well done, taxi.
So I'm late, so you have to put 10% more on the tithes to present it. So that gap must be filled with an additional 10%.
Wow.
And I always have questioned, but was never able to.
But when did your
ask
eyes
it.
open to yourself?
Okay, when I went to another church, and then my eyes opened in November when I had said, it's like I'm feeling empty. I eat, I drink, but then I'm not satisfied.
Yeah.
Inside I feel weird. And I take back from the church, because every time somebody was persecuting me, I talk too much, you praise God too much, they tell me that. I'm a shut up. Like I say, hallelujah, praise God. They say, oh, you need to shut up.
But those are secondary.
Yes. So I come back away from it, because if everyone who is close to me is not reaching me, and who is there not reaching me, and I cannot feel anything, I step back home. And I did not go that day. And when I asked God that time when I'm going to bed, which was a Sunday night, and I asked, just let me sleep, don't get up. Then when I woke, I see myself wake up the next day, and I'm looking around, I reach for my phone. And it's when I reach for my phone and I open my phone, I saw this share, and I opened it, and I saw you in there. And I listened, because I said, who's this? And I listened. And he was talking about truth. And the truth that you spoke about, that everyone else can tell lie. I do not know which part of the series this is, but you said everyone can tell a story, and everybody listen to them. But the truth, even though they don't believe the truth or don't care about the truth, even if you die, the truth will still be the truth. So I fit myself in that position to say, I'm telling the truth. As to say, I know what I see, and seldom I manage to say something, and no one cares. So I feel satisfied now. So then now I start to search. After hearing you stated that, and then I see it says another, like the people start to talk now. And I'm keep following up, and I wrote your name down, because I couldn't call your name first. I can say Sunday, but I could. So I keep practicing to say Adelaja. I say it until I hear myself say the word correctly. Because before I didn't know how to pronounce it. So I'm someone like this. I would like to know and know the truth and understand it. So then I search. I put your name into Google. And then I saw that YouTube comes. Then I start to listen, and then I catch the live one day in New York. When you was having the fruit with
Kingdom fruit.
Yeah, and somebody was talking, and I listened to it, and almost get to school late, because I was so intrigued by it, and I'm listening to it, forgetting that I could move and go with it with my phone. I get stuck and listen, and then you started to talk about the books and everything, and then I got real interested to know that I could share this information with others. So I keep sharing and sharing, and I share to everyone and learn about the books that I could purchase the books and also distribute. I'm so hungry for everyone to hear it. The truth, so I even run my WhatsApp out of space because I keep everybody in the WhatsApp. I send all, and you know it's a large amount of space it takes up. So I didn't understand it taking up the space, and it says I have no more space. But then I just still continue until now I'm here. And I was writing you, when I'm thinking I'm writing you, you're sleeping. It's time, because I'm in New York, and I'm writing in daytime.
But I guess the reason why you keep on sharing is because it is the sharing that got you out of trouble.
Yes, got me into debt.
Yes, because you said in these churches, you are not just giving your tithe and 10% more when you are late, but you actually did the mortgage of your house.
Yes.
And gave to the church.
Yes.
So things were really happening in your life, and you shared. I mean, because somebody shared the message. You don't even remember who shared the message with you.
I think it's a guy from if I can remember, he's from Colombia.
Do you think it's a good idea though for people to keep on sharing like that? Because some people, they might be saying, okay, why does it say share? Because does it just want people to come? But it saves lives.
No, sharing is valuable. I will use that because my life now is valuable because of that share. This person that share is coming out of Ohio, Columbia, Ohio. His name is Elvis.
Okay.
I think he's from Togo.
Oh, okay.
Because I met him in that church.
I see.
So we had kept in contact. He shared it in my Facebook. So when I went back to look, I realized is this young man, and he left the church the same way too, and in Colombia, Ohio.
So it's a good idea
for sharing.
Yes. And then the truth series you mentioned, right?
The truth series, everyone should go and listen to it. And the personality, the one about a personality, that to also bring me up to be elevated as knowing I'm a personality and I'm really someone. And the book about who am I, when you advertise who am I fit it in with the personality.
Yes.
And that's why I was so ready to get the books and to share with others. Some people, I've given the books to them.
Oh, already?
Yeah, I've given the book to some of my schoolmates. Just give them, because when I look, we all there, we're struggling and we don't have money, so
you bought it with your own money and you're giving to them to read.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, that is before you came here.
Yes.
Now, some people were there, they couldn't come for HMT, and definitely they would like to know your experience and your feedback from just being in Ukraine and all these classes. We know it's been strenuous and very demanding, but what are the blessings of it?
Yes, as Pastor said about being strenuous, you're able to set timeline.
Yes.
And to be in the era now, because era now is important to have a direction, and to know that you say you have faith and you have no result, you have no works for it. It's pretty useless, because in the church you learn about faith is the substance of things not seen, but what you hope for. But how long can you hope when you can come to a decision and having your faith come true to be tangible? So coming to Ukraine, your faith will not only be hope, but it will become reality, because the teaching and the association has to become to mingle with other Christians, or other, not even only Christian, but other people who wants the truth, and to be able to change our society, our community, or the nation. We're able to have that value impact on us to learn the different things that can able to share to make that change.
Beautiful. So what do you think, was it worth it for you to have come all the way from New York?
Yes, it worth it for me to come all the way from New York, because I challenged myself. It might have been heard before about being claustrophobic, and I don't like to be entrapped, because if I am in somewhere, I'm always rolling my eyes.
In the airport and in the plane?
No, in the plane is the worst impact, because I cannot go and make my decision when I want out of the seat. And also, if the plane is in motion and it's having turbulence, you have to keep your seatbelt on. So all those things I'm aware of. So I'm saying I'm taking a straight flight, which I'm not stopping over anywhere. Will I deal with this challenge? Yes, I have dealt with the challenge. I was in the middle seat, and the anxiety started to arise on me. And then I think about my end result. My end result is to reach to Ukraine and to get to Kyiv. So I started to think about the positive rather than how I'm feeling. So I elevate my thoughts to what I'm going to accomplish and how it would change my life just to see Dr. Sunday and whatever it is that is going to involve my presence being here. So in a matter of time, I was not thinking anymore about the feelings that I was having. So it transferred into positive, and it brought my anxiety down, and I was relaxed. I do believe I went off to sleep, because at the end, like I turned, I hear myself say, thank you, God. So I was looking at the two people and saying, was I praying? But I noticed they have a comfort for me after that time. Are you okay? They were asking me and talking to me. They were from Kyiv, Ukraine. So I felt that whatever the pressure was for me, they saw love within it, because even when I disembarked the plane, they said, I wish you all the best, and all that. And we didn't have a long conversation about anything.
Beautiful. Okay. Anybody wants to be the next one to talk? Maybe we just go with Libyan.
Okay. Just want to rock my idea, but anyway. About what I have, let's say...
Introduce yourself again.
Yes, okay. My name is Lemuel Niaoré. I came from France, and I am in the church of Pastor Pierre. I am a young married man, blessed young married man.
How long?
Since the 1st September 2017.
October?
September.
September.
Yeah,
just over 6 months?
Yes.
Young married man. Young married man, yeah.
So,
just speak louder so that
okay.
your voice will be.
Okay, and also I am a PhD candidate I'm studying law at the university, and this HMT is just like a very important experience for me, because I came to learn also, and then to find, let's say, fulfillment about some ideas. My pastor came one time before, and he...
Yeah, what was the impression you got from your pastor after he came?
Okay, when my pastor came here for the HMT, even before the HMT, he was
here.
Yes, he was here. But I used to follow the broadcast.
Okay.
Because maybe 4 months before that he came the first time.
Okay.
He taught me about you and what, yes, and so I was aware of this, correct?
Aware, yeah.
Yes, about what is going on here, and so now I just started to listen the broadcast, even to check for some message, some topic. I have listened a lot of your message, even in Australia, I think something like this, in America, since long time. So when he came here, I also followed his HMT, and when he came back, he was very
energetic.
Yes, energetic, and so he just confirmed what I knew when I watched the YouTube, and so he just confirmed it. And the first time that he was coming here, I wanted to come, but it was very difficult for me because I have school. I teach at the university as assistant of the professor.
Yeah, but how do you get? Did you have to get visa to come here?
Yes.
Oh, so it makes it more difficult.
Difficult.
Oh, okay.
Difficult. difficult, but by God's grace, this time was very, let's say, prophetic, in the sense that, in the way that it is the very good time. Right now, the university is closed. It's like we have
holidays.
Yes, holidays, and I get opportunity to come. I get also the finances, all the things that I needed, and so it was very the right time, I think.
So, what do you get here? Do you think it's worth it? It's worth it?
A lot. And one of the things, the first thing, it was about even the atmosphere, and what I was, let's say, I was surprised. Because the first night we didn't even pray something like this, like to.
But yes, the spirit presence of God.
Yes.
No pray, no spiritual.
I told it to my pastor that we didn't even like sometimes the meeting we sing.
And no presence of God.
And the pastor big prophesied in people something like this, but nothing, just
dry.
Yes, but during that time. So deep in the word of God, the knowledge, in the teaching, so
no religiosity, but the presence of God.
Yes. So it was like something new for me, and to see how we can, without do something and be direct in the spirit. And also the training itself, the training, the time, we have few time to make exercises, we don't sleep, and we do a lot of things. Yes, but I am in a very great team with my leader and my colleague that was very great. We support each other, and it was very a very good time. And also all the HMTs, trainees people. Yeah. It was very a nice time about the atmosphere. So I even took a lot of, let's say, lesson of each of them in the kitchen, the way people are. It was very, very deep. This is about the atmosphere. And let's say, second thing is for me, when I just now think about all of this, it's like a prophetic time for me. I didn't know before the topic of the HMT, but when I came, even right now I was thinking about it, it's about a nation. For I have always, the main topic in my spirit is about how to build a nation.
Wow.
Since long time. I made my choices always like this, since long time. I was supposed to do history, like history at the university. Yes. And after I changed to go to do law, because I wanted to be involved in the future, but in anyhow political issues, in anyhow. So it was like something, and I always follow this aspect. Even in, let's say, in second year of law, we have two main disciplines. Like you can make the private or public. Mm-hmm. It was the same idea that I wanted to about what is concerned about public. When I came in France in 2013, and I was in Paris. I was doing political science there, and I went to do my master. The second year, I got admission in four schools. Different towns. One in Paris, in Clermont-Ferrand, one in Poitiers, and another one in Grenoble. And the four were different. And I took the one that is about international careers, that is involved about political science and also law, something like this. But just that I just failed and I just follow. I don't know.
And you didn't know the pastor before that?
Yeah, not yet.
No?
It's when I came in the town, and I, even to make the choice between the four, I was praying, because at first I wanted to study about migration.
Law.
Not even law. Migration as a sociology, yes, migration. And I prayed, and I wanted not to go to Clermont-Ferrand because the town for me
It's
was
too small
and too far from Paris, and I wanted a big town. And when I prayed, I don't know why, but at a certain time, it was like an evidence for me to go to Clermont-Ferrand and to choose that one. Yes, it was. Even with my brother, that the pastor know my brother, he was hesitate. But I told him, I go there. Maybe if you don't want, because we have been accepted in the 4th together.
Me too.
Yes, in the 4th. So he could go another way. So I told him, but he felt the same.
And came also.
Yes, and we went together. And we saw that even when we arrived there in the town, we saw that he was like something prophetic. Each of us,
How did you find the pastor?
Okay.
In the street.
No.
Yes, pastor, you can.
No, you talk.
Okay. So when we came in the town, I started to just look for a church. And the first week I went in different churches, but it was like not the place. So I just left the church, but I was just looking for a church because all the one I wasn't feel good.
Wow.
Yes, and it was at school that I was just passing in the school, in the in the hall of the school, and I saw information, a track, and I saw something about music because I like to. Yes, I saw music, but when I saw music, I just knew that it was a church. And I took the number and I called the pastor. When I called him, the day after, he has
like a small concert.
Yes,
okay.
in town.
In the open air.
Yes.
Wow.
So he asked me to come and we meet there. And so that like this, I went there with my brother. Yeah. We were two because I told him that I feel something about this. So come with me, and we went together. And we saw the pastor. He was very relaxed and very accessible. And
connect.
Yeah, yes.
And connected.
Yes. And after we went to the church. But when I entered the church, it was like an evidence that I was supposed to stay in this church because the gospel, the atmosphere, and also the message, what he was preaching was so deep, and it was what I was needed. I knew that I have to stay here and to now start to develop myself the way
beautiful.
Yes,
beautiful.
Wow,
what a story. Okay, now we're here. Back to HMT.
Okay, so I was just explaining that the choices I made is what about, like I was looking for something, and so now the topic of HMT is about the political issues,
yes.
How to transform the nation through through the value,
value system.
Through value system, through all this type of things that we don't learn at school.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't learn it at school. So this is what I was just thinking that is a prophetic time for me, and so it's just blessed me like this. And what I was even today, I thought about it. I wanted to, I want and I will just use what I have learned and apply it in the case of Ivory Coast and start to write book about it. The first thing that yes, and so it's what I have written.
Because this could give biblical theology for national transformation.
Yes.
Not just in Nigeria and English-speaking countries, but also in French-speaking countries. But if you write a book in French about it, it might be the first one.
Yes.
The biblical basis for national transformation. Yes. In the French. You say you were watching it?
Yes, I was.
So you were with us on HMT. You listened to most of it?
Most of them.
What were your impressions? Why you could? This is a totally different feeling because you are not with us here.
Yeah.
So tell us, how does it feel watching from home? Because a lot of people on the Facebook will be able to identify with you in that sense.
Okay, if it feels great watching from home, and that's because the people watching on Facebook were also made to get involved. I remember, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, where you decided to greet everybody, those of us that were watching. And that was really nice. You were calling out names of people, and they felt like, oh, even though they were not there, but they still felt welcome with a lot of things that were thought there. So I personally, for me, it was great watching on Facebook, and especially when people shared their experiences and when people come out, because it made you connect more, because the teaching is not just teaching. People come, we teach, and people come out to share their experience. Everyone is made to talk. People are made to pour out their heart, get vulnerable, and an open atmosphere like that. And the thing is, even while on Facebook, you see people writing things like, yes, it's true, it happened with me, it happened, and all those things, you see that it may not necessarily be the exact feeling of being here, but we still connect even while online, because people can connect with the stories that are shared, or how I'm treated in the church, or things about the value system. Oh, this is true, I see this around me, and we all can relate. Personally, I can relate, and I believe that's exactly how so many other people that were watching, just the way I was watching, were feeling about it.
But is this topic, for example, if Lemieux says that the topic was, was important to him because he had always been led to do something political, for someone like you as a lady or people at home, because it looks like a topic that is just one area, one specific area, almost like transformation or political. Doesn't the topic look a little bit as ostracizing people?
Like making it look like it's for a particular.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Number one, as a lady, I don't think it didn't make me feel anyhow. And with the fact that this transformation that was talked about, we talked about the role of the church in the national transformation, the role of value system in national transformation. First of all, personally for me, I began to see with these topics that were listed, every one of us had a role to play. It was not just a thing for the government. It was not just a thing for a group of people. Let's use the value system, for example. The value system obviously is from those of us. For me personally, when they were talking about, when Pastor Nu gave the talk on value system, yes, and I could see the lapses in my own life as a person, and I believe so many other people could connect with it. It was not, the whole thing didn't just start from the top to crumble. It also started from we ourselves as individuals. So I began to see the role I could play in changing some things that I was doing as a person. Some of the value system, I never even away from the book, yes, I think the 21 value systems.
Yeah, 20
Nigerian value systems. And I was looking at these things and I'm like, okay, how could someone from the national anthem and the things that surrounded the pledge and all those things pick out the exact systems that actually were the things that maybe the people that wrote those songs initiated in their minds? When
the forefathers
initiated in their minds for the value system of Nigeria. I'm like, wow, I've never ever thought about these things, and it really became interesting for me. I'm like, if every Nigerian or anybody in their country could really understand the value system that holds it, I started to hold myself accountable. I'm like, girl, you are Nigerian and you don't even know all the value systems that.
No, but 99% of Nigerians don't know that.
So many. So I'm like,
you are one of the smart ones. And ordinary people don't even know it exists. Some people, even the value system, the phrase itself, they've never had it.
Yeah, many of us don't know that a nation is supposed to be held by a value system.
Okay.
And another thing that stood out for me from that, the whole value system, because from the core of the HMT, you see there was this, the value system was on the forefront because it holds a strong foundation in national transformation. But I found out that even as individuals, we don't speak out our personal value systems as well. And I began to say,
even though we are Christians,
at least someone having an encounter with you, they should be able to know the values that hold your life.
Yes.
They should be able to know the values that hold your life. Then you cannot say, oh, as a Nigerian, this is what makes you a Nigerian. Yeah. As some from Paris, this is what holds you. Any country of a Congolese, these are the values that hold you from your nation. And I began to ask myself that question. And it made me want to become more accountable to the value systems that hold my life as a person. And so many other things, but this value system was.
Do you know the book?
No, I've not.
The book he read that made him to become to God, that where he got that thing from. The book is called How to Discover, is it How to Discover or Discovering the Purpose and Calling of Nations?
No, okay.
Yes. Huh? Discovering the calling and purpose. Discovering the calling and purpose of nations. That is where he got it from. And after Anu read that book, you know what he said to me? He said, I know now what my life is supposed to be dedicated to. Because it's like nobody is doing it. Opening the eyes of a whole country of 200 million people to their own value system. You know, a whole country living without even being aware of their own value system. And help find that book, Discovering the Calling and Purpose of Every Nation. Okay. So, and so he said, I know now, if we could help Nigerians or the whole country to discover that calling and purpose, we would have changed the whole land.
Sure.
So it's like, that's the importance you two saw now. You two saw that particular. But the thing with that book is that it will also help you. I mean, it will help anybody to know how to discover the calling and purpose of any country, not just your own country, not just Nigeria, but any country you might be coming from. That book will help you to discover that calling and purpose, because the formula is there. Because since the formula is there, you can use it for anywhere. But the fact that you say what you said now, that, and that's a very good observation. It means that not all Christians even know their own value systems. And they don't even know what they live for. So they just exist, just go to church. So that mindset of just going to church made people to think that they're already doing all that is needed to be done. But they need to have their own philosophy of life. You need to have your own philosophy of life. And it's your value system that helps you to dictate your philosophy of life. So yeah, I want to, you to talk further. So what are the other experiences or feelings or impressions that you are having while you are, watching from home?
Some other experiences I had watching from home, I would like to express more on the testimonies that I had. And that was this. I was able to connect to some of the testimonies, like Livy, I think Livy, right? Livio's testimony. And
the guy from Holland.
Yeah, the guy from Holland. And then Mommy's testimony, Maxine's testimony, so I can't remember the names, I'm really sorry. Okay. And but one of the things that stood out for me was the safe atmosphere. I don't know if this may not be common for everyone, but these were the things I noticed. That safe atmosphere where you express the things going on in your heart, and you're beginning to see that this is not the way things are supposed to be done, and this is the way it is in this other way. And it was cool. One of the things that made it important for me was because I could connect with some of the stories. I remember when she was sharing Maxine was sharing her experience. I'm sorry. I remembered a particular experience that I've not really shared so much in my life. When I lost my brother,
senior brother,
my younger brother. I lost my younger brother. I was in JSS 3 in school then. He had a heart problem. He was born with a hole in his heart. So he went to India for surgeries, and during the surgery, he lost his memory and things like that. So he was like unconscious for 5 years. I remember, right? He was unconscious for 5 years. And when he finally died, something happened. During the holiday, I met this particular man of God that came to our house that day and made my parents kneel down and told us to gather around, that we were the ones, that it was my parents' disobedience that made God take my brother. And that was...
I can't believe that is happening.
As a child, I was feeling rebellious about it, but this was a man of God, and our parents told us we were all supposed to kneel down and do that. And I can imagine the mindset. I was beginning to think,
what?
what?
God?
Okay,
That's on her.
He was the pastor of the church.
He was not a pastor of my church. This is a man. He's an evangelist that they knew that did crusades and things like that. So I can't remember the exact connection he had. Yeah, he came to town, and usually whenever he comes to town, my parents house him. So he was having a program. So he normally stays.
He's trying to find an excuse for why he prayed, and his
maybe
prayer
he
never
was-
answered.
Exactly. So when he did that, he said it was my parents' disobedience that made my brother die and things like that. And even as a child, I was standing. I couldn't open my mouth to say things like, because I didn't even know exactly what it was. But I knew in my heart that it didn't settle well with me. Now growing up, and
So your mother and your father went to kneel down?
yeah, they knelt down, and we the kids surrounded my parents, like holding hands and listening to all that. And thinking about those things now, I'm
No,
like,
okay, what, it was their fault for what?
that it was their disobedience that made my brother die. In the sense that he shouldn't have gone for the heart surgery at all. He shouldn't have gone for the heart surgery at all.
Oh,
Yeah, that he shouldn't have gone for the heart surgery, that God would have healed him without the heart surgery and things like that. So, and why I really connected with,
somebody shouldn't go for surgery.
yeah, they said he shouldn't have gone for the heart surgery. So,
So who will do the surgery?
I don't know what they thought.
Miracle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
a miracle would have
Miracle
happened.
bound. God.
And the funny thing is this guy, my brother did this surgery when he was, I think, 6 or 7. He was, so what this surgery is a surgery that could have been done
So when he was small.
when he was little. When he was little. So,
Newborn.
yeah, when
And
he
they
was
will be
Newborn.
praying, they will
When
be
he was
holding
newborn.
and praying.
So there was this belief that something would have happened along the way and things like that. So he did the surgery later in his life. And the reason why I connected when, please remind me, this will be the last time.
Maxine.
Maxine.
You know, like the way they call
Maxine.
Maxine.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be the last time.
It's okay.
So why I connected is the vulnerability when pastors know that you are, because that time
Vulnerable.
a lot of pastors, my parents were really devastated. They put in a lot of things, the money, the stress. This is the boy that was unconscious for days. He was in coma sometime, computers and everything. We lived with this, and so a lot of things were destabilized
So
for
there
them.
was already trauma.
Yeah, they were and
They
this
were
was
already
that point.
traumatic.
Exactly. And that point, anything you would have told them,
Yes.
they would have believed it.
Yes.
So it's made me understand
How these people.
how pastors actually get into, see you in that state you are.
Yes.
That
Yes.
state you are.
Helplessness.
Yes.
Exactly. And then begin to say all those things to you.
Yes.
That's exploitation. Taking advantage.
Exactly. So, all those thoughts were just crossing my mind. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what it is like. Even either some of them, the thing is this, when they feel like they can get something from you, because that was,
You know, that is what I called in my series psychopaths.
yeah,
You remember?
yeah,
Yes.
the psychopath. And that's either the way the manipulation comes. So I was trying to compare that experience with Levy's experience.
Yes.
Where he was depressed and then the pastor didn't care.
Yes.
Was it because, was it because they were not going to get something out of him? Maybe if there was something they could have gotten
No,
out
but
of him.
what the pastor was telling Livio is that you and your brother should just get born again and be coming to church, that's all, and just pray, everything. What they were more interested in either getting something from you in money terms or just for you to join the church. The whole idea is just for the church to
Progress.
grow. But whatever is bothering you is secondary. And they will now even use and exploit your own problem. They will take advantage of your own problem and use it to take your vulnerability. Use it to take advantage of you. And the reason that man was telling your family to sit down, to kneel down even, and repent, is because he wants to, first of all, validate his own authority and justify himself that he prayed and the thing didn't work. That's number one. Number two, he wants to now bring your family under more submission, subdue. so that they will be totally in subjection to him. That you see, no, okay, you have disobeyed, but no problem. I will pray for you.
And nothing will not happen to you people.
So your people now will be more committed to him.
Yes.
If they don't think it through, they will think, yeah, thank God we have that man of God. So it's because of him now that what is this?
Yes.
It's sad.
Yes.
It's really sad.
But when I talk about it and I address it as psychopaths, is your pastor a psychopath? Is your pastor turning you to a psychopath? It might sound harsh, but how will we deal with any issue if we don't talk about it? If you don't raise the topic. But when you hear the real pain of families like yours, like Maxine, even like Livio, unless you don't care for people's destiny, and you rather prefer that let thousands and millions be perishing, so that we should not just talk about what is wrong or what pastors do. Or you will talk and open the eyes of the ones who want to get set free.
Sure.
Because those kind of stories, devastations are going on everywhere.
Yes.
So much that even without Olivia, when he went to the professional psychiatrist, what they told him is that don't go to church anymore. It's not because churches, they are against church. Because they told him you can be listening to that other guy, even though he's a pastor, but because of what he's telling you. But because of what these people are telling you in church, you shouldn't go there. Because what this church is religion, because those in church people are giving him religion, and religion was bringing damage and destruction. But here, go there. Go and listen to that man, because it's giving you life. Yeah, so what is your conclusion? Why did you remember the story of Maxine, you remember the story of Livio, and you remember your own. What was your conclusion after?
My conclusion in all of it was the role that a lot of pastors play, the religion plays, especially when they find out people were vulnerable, and how they own you more, they make you submit to them more, and you keep submitting to them. And I really want to say a little about this whole psychopath thing. When you were doing this series on psychopath, I felt, at first I was like, psychopath, the word sounds strong. Really strong. But recently I have been having a little interest in psychology, and I've actually been seeing like how people get into different behaviors, like how a lot of people grow into behaviors. And I was just finding out that, do you know, it's actually true that people become psychopathic for real in the church. Like you become, I'm sorry to use this word, but you know how sheep behave when one sheep is falling into a ditch, and everybody, all the rest just do, and you're like, are they not seeing? And they all fall down. Because there is a behavioral pattern that has gotten into everybody. That's exactly what happens when you've stayed under someone and you cannot think for yourself again. You for example, a lot of people, every morning you wake up, you have your bath. Every morning you wake up, you brush your teeth. Some people don't know the reason why they brush their teeth. I've just grown to know that I should brush my teeth every morning. I should brush my teeth every morning. Every morning I should brush my teeth. So now that has become your behavior. Every day I should have my bath. Every day I should have my bath. So when someone's like, I don't have your bath today. How can you not have your bath today? You have gotten used to that behavior. So now, when the pastors do all those things, even in that, that's when we were doing that series, you were pointing out little things, like people just falling down when they just do cream and you just fall. Like, some people, ask them why they fell. They don't know, but they know that when they do hand
even
like
after falling finish, what did you get?
when you just do hand like this, people
Waiting
just
happen.
It's already a behavioral pattern for you, because this has taken your mind. This is how your mind has gotten accustomed to things. This is how you just wake up and do this. You just wake up and they say, give your money. So
Yes.
this, you don't think what, why, how, where. You just do it. Some people even go as much as borrowing money to give.
Yes.
And that's because you just know,
No, what about students paying their own school fees?
like, paying their school fees. But
But
when,
those things, they say even in Ukraine, yeah,
it does happen. It does happen in Ukraine, where people just give their fees or borrow money. You are still owing school fees and you're borrowing money because you want to sow in the church and things like that. People do all this. It's a behavioral pattern where your mind is actually really, really, really psychopathic. So at the end of all these things, I began to see the true importance of the church in educating people and the role in actually transforming a nation. There is no nation that can be transformed if a lot of work is not done in the church. Or let me even say, if we don't correct Christianity and the way we see that Christianity as a whole. Because it has a big role, just like that whole value system thing too. Imagine the religion pillar. See, it's not possible if the church, if we don't do that work that we need to do in that religion part, that Christianity as a whole, then transforming the nation will be. But I believe strongly that with what it's happening already, with the teachings, and just as more people are catching the fire, we're all getting the whole thing and digging ourselves deep into it. I believe the message will keep spreading and people will get relief and they will keep spreading, because when they understand the experience they are having, you would know that, man, other people are going through this too. You share your experience, you share your lessons and things like that. And
okay, can you imagine someone when pastors convince somebody to go and do mortgage of a house, take money in the bank for the price of your house,
and give to the church.
give it to the church? And she's not the only one. People told me when she was talking that it happens, that she's not the only one, that this happens. You have children, you have family, you have school you have to pay for, you have your own life. You know what that means? I mean, what happened to people? This is not tight now. This is what you have worked for your whole life.
Yes.
As a fruit or life gift, I don't understand that.
They for some miracles, baby.
A miracle. The point they say you must give something painful.
Oh.
Okay, hey, it's true. I heard that. People talk about that. You must give something that is painful. I'm sure you've heard it too.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, and what could be more painful than your house? Yeah. Go ahead and talk.
I have the experience when we came down one morning and our leader we were going to have a practice, or no, a prayer, but we're going to include a physical activity in the physical activity. And I know my leader didn't understand when she said, make the list of 5 things that you could sacrifice. And I said to her, I don't need to make a list because I can sacrifice anything. But she said, you need to write it down. I said, no, I don't need to write it down because there's nothing, there's only God that I wouldn't sacrifice, but anything else I can sacrifice. And she said, you have to write it down. And I said, no, I don't have to write it down. And she said, write it down. I said, I'm going to pretend. I said that, I'm going to pretend because I know there's nothing that I won't sacrifice. My son fought the war in Iraq, and I sacrificed that because when I told my son, I had the gas mask, the suit that he has to wear because they were talking about germ warfare and he live in America. We're from Jamaica originally. He was born in Jamaica, and we are being a citizen of the country. And my son now becomes part of the country, so he must serve. There is a war. And if he avoid going, he's going to be imprisoned by the government for violating the order. So he said, I said, no, that's, you don't have to go, like you could go back to Jamaica. He said, no, mommy, this is not like go back to Jamaica. They'll come back, they'll get me. So I took my son with a gas mask. He had to have a gas mask to protect himself when he's there. There's this suit that they wear, like a hazmat suit, when they go to the chemical. Yeah. So I can imagine him in how much degree weather, hot, in that, and you want to go to the bathroom, or you cannot take it off, and you have to have all these things on it. So the impact is that when I was saying no, I can sacrifice anything, it was not understood. But I know how far I can go with sacrificing, and knowing that the one thing I wouldn't be able to do is to sacrifice God, because all that I've gone through, I kept my mental state into say education was my key. I said if I die, I would die with the education, but anything else that they take from me, I would not mourn after it. So I use my head, I use my mind as a defense, tune into God, because I can't talk out. If I cannot pray, I can think it in my mind and strongly close my eyes, or think and think and think and think and think God and think God and think God and think God. And nobody can come and catch God from me and take like how they can take anything. So anything else you want, I'll give it to you.
And that is what sometimes people take advantage of. They know people who are committed like this and say, okay, go and sell your house or go and mortgage your house. And people take advantage of your, readiness to serve God.
Yes.
Because by people say you give to God,
Yes.
but really they say you are giving to the man.
Yes.
You are giving to them. And they will tell you, because they know that you respect God and you are ready to do anything for God. They will say, give to God. But really you are giving to man. Now, before Anu came, you were talking of his teaching, Anu's session, and this is the book, Discovering the Purpose and Calling of Nations. It's amazing. It is all here. Peace had a very strong impression and remark about your session. About the value system. She said she never thought about it. I said she's not the only one. Maybe 90% of Nigerians never thought about it. And then she came up with an idea also that the reason the whole country doesn't know the value system and doesn't live by value system is because individuals also don't even know their own value systems. That these same value systems must become individuals' value systems. Then they will be able to promote it in the country. So this is the book, and you said when you read this book that you said you found your life destiny, purpose. Would you like to comment on what is this whole value thing all about, and how that was triggered?
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah.
If I can stand. Am I good from here?
So, you have to sit down. Okay.
You can sit between the chairs.
No, let's don't together we share.
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 Hello everyone. Yeah, this is the masterpiece, and I am Anojo, and this book, it blew my mind because speaking of the title, Discovering the Purpose and Calling of Nations, it's widespread to discuss on discovering the purpose of individuals, and that's one of the big shock I got with this title, because I never associated a nation with purpose. I associated individual lives with purpose, and that even came later in my life. I started hearing about purpose when I got to Ukraine, and that was even after years. I think it was even in my 4th year that I started hearing concretely about I'm here for an assignment. I'm here to live my purpose. I came as a student. I was studying medicine, but medicine wasn't described as purpose, or I didn't choose medicine because I was chasing my destiny or chasing my purpose. I chose medicine because that's a good choice career. Trust me, Nigeria. That's a good career choice, better put. So choosing medicine was, man, you're sure not going to look for a job. Yeah. So, that's you securing your future. So, understanding that as an individual, I have a purpose came later in my life. So imagine that I understood that as an individual, I'm here on an assignment. So when Pastor was teaching on Calling and Purpose series, and then fast forward to discussing on nations. That's a whole different ballgame entirely. So
most people will not. So you got to know about the fact that there is need to find out your own purpose only in the medical school, 4th year.
I was in university already. Yeah.
So what would you say then about people at home?
Yes. I mean, Pastor, a large amount of people are not thinking of purpose.
What are they thinking about? Survival.
Yeah, survival.
Survival.
That's it.
Survival.
I mean,
In
even
America too?
Survival.
that's it.
Secure job.
Yeah, getting a good job. That's the reason why
Yes.
we won't go into university. I mean, ask most students, most people, okay, why are you in the job where you're in right now? I mean, they cannot even associate it with purpose. Nothing like, they are not like this is my calling or no. No, it's just, man, I got a good job. I'm earning a good salary. I'm able to take care of my family. I mean, look at my house. It's a good
No, but
house.
people go
Yes.
to church now.
Sir.
It's like a
But
mom.
they are not teaching
Teaching
this.
them.
No, they are teaching this thing in the church.
No.
No.
How to make heaven.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's more popular.
And not to be cursed.
And then on the issue
You're
of
broken.
yeah, on the issue of calling, you might hear calling, you might hear teachings of calling in church.
Generational.
But calling in church is not associated with you as an individual. It's the fivefold ministry.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you hear people teach about calling in church, I mean, and the word calling there actually has it has a spiritual
Definition.
definition.
Okay.
So what are you called? What's your calling? What has God called you?
Yes,
So
prayer worship.
So
Yes.
if you, now you are you are a high class guy. If your calling falls into the fivefold ministry, you understand? That's, if you're a pastor, prophet, all of that, or teacher, all of that. Then, if you feel like no, I'm not in the first five, then they'll tell you, look for a calling in the department.
Yes.
So either your calling is in the choir, or your calling is in the ushering department, or your calling is
All the million people.
Yeah, and to carry the Bible.
Or drama department.
or drama department. So that's what they associate calling with.
Jesus police.
Yeah, carry the Bible.
Or things like that. So, even the issue of discovering your purpose as an individual is one thing. Pastor, even from people's feedback on your books, I've been here, so I understand. I've heard a lot of people testify about their book, and the best book they talk about is Who Am I Here? Why?
Yeah, oh my.
Why is it that everybody's saying, this is the best book, Who Am I Here? Because nobody told them about their identity and about their purpose. So it's like you're making them realize that I'm actually here for a reason. I'm not here to just get a job. I'm not here to just have a family. I'm not here to just, survive. I'm actually here for a reason.
No, the reason why I'm surprised that if you people are not telling me this, I would not believe it, because I know that my friend, Miles Monroe, spent almost the last 10 years of his life in Nigeria alone. And he's going to all these churches that you people are attending. His books are everywhere there. So what are you people listening to?
No, Pastor, this. But let me explain it to you.
I
If
know that
out
time.
of 365 days in a year, how many weeks in a year? That's 52 weeks.
52, yes.
So Miles Monroe comes one Sunday or 2 Sundays in a year, and the other Sundays.
They go back to the norm.
So what are the people hearing? So Miles Monroe comes one week retreat, and then the next week until the rest of the year, Bible study.
Yes.
Bible study, Thursday prayer meeting, Friday cell meeting, Saturday this and everything. So throughout the week, all they're hearing is the junk that they've been taught all the while. So what does, as in Miles Monroe's message does not even hold water.
Didn't become effective.
Yeah. So most people and most people make reference to Miles Monroe, and those people that really make reference to Miles Monroe are those who heard what he was teaching and they got interested in it, and then they sought for more on their own, without wanting to just eat from their pastor's message. You understand? But just thought, this is interesting, kingdom or purpose or something like that. But the calling series that you
It didn't change
no, it didn't change. No,
perspective of Nigerian church
no, it
to
didn't
reality.
change. No, it didn't
But we
change.
wanted to say, when I mentioned that,
Yeah.
you wanted to comment.
Yeah, I wanted to say something because that's the beautiful thing. Okay, I heard you say something when you started daily broadcast. When we used to do it, just I think we used to do it. When you were talking about the reason why you kept doing it constantly, you said there is a need for people
Morning
to
and evening.
morning. I remember when we used to do morning and evening. And you said there's a need for people to constantly hear the message. Now I'm understanding that need for repetition. Because see how normally it's like, oh, when people, the home, it's not like the message is the same, but the idea is still for that, the kind of impact it's making on people. You see that that repetition every single time has grown people to an idea that has changed their mind totally. Now imagine if that constancy is actually what has brought people to where they are. They are daily questioning. Normally people,
because it's daily.
Normally Africans generally are lazy. They want to be spoon fed. Yes.
Every week, once a week.
So when you are doing something once a week, it may have an impact. But now you are doing something, they keep hearing this thing every day. Even if, as long as the person tunes in and listens every day, that impact is actually what has made and brought people to where they
awareness.
To that full awareness. And then this is real, this is happening, and this is really happening. So I feel that repetition is what has really brought this great awareness to a lot of people.
So even if Miles Monroe went to these churches for once a year or twice a year, it doesn't hold water.
It doesn't hold water. Just like Anu said. The truth is, some of the reason why people are even hearing so much of Miles Monroe messages now that Miles Monroe is gone. Because on YouTube now there are so many people, different people that put Miles Monroe messages, even some messages that were not out there before. Some churches that found out they recorded some of those messages are bringing out. His kids too are putting his messages on YouTube now. Some of them you have to buy them, but now most of them are free. Now that people are actually even digging more. If it was when Miles Monroe was alive, going to those churches and putting all those things, I don't think people
you were taking for granted.
Yeah, Miles Monroe actually became this when
more popular
when he died.
Yeah.
It was after Miles Monroe died that people kept watching him that much. But when he was alive, I don't think he was this popular. So it's now that people are going over to listen. Okay, there is more to this purpose thing people are really talking about. Find myself, and I think so.
And your approach is making it work, Pastor.
Yes.
So that is daily.
No, not even the daily approach. The approach of destroying first and then building.
Yes.
Is what is, and I will explain that. You know, Miles Monroe comes to preach purpose, and then it's just like if a house is, if the foundation of something is faulty, and you're coming to build on the faulty foundation,
it's not tearing down.
Yeah, you have to tear down.
Like Jeremiah said, tear down.
You have to tear down, uproot, and then begin to implant your message. So imagine people who are foundationally and fundamentally, their whole mindset is warped. It's just, messed up. And then you're coming with a very good message. What they get is just the goosebumps. What they get is just the wow, deep, amazing, great. But foundationally, they are messed up. So for you to, and that's the approach that you're taking. So for example, you're telling people you have to discover your purpose and things like that. But you're not just saying discover your purpose. You're not thinking that you're wasting your life if you are doing this. So that approach that people don't like is you are making people realize that I'm not just saying this is what you should do and this is the right thing, but this is what you've been doing is wrong. You've been deceived. Is all that approach of destroying and making people realize that
wrong foundation.
Yeah, of going to the foundation. That is exactly what makes people, so now they can see it's crystal clear. That you're not just saying something to just get, motivational speakers speak about purpose too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they talk about discovering the Anthony Robbins and all of them like that. But, it doesn't really have a profound transformation in the lives of people as yours, produces, because you're not just talking about this is what you should do. You're helping people realize that, hey, I want to really go down to that foundation and destroy that stuff. For example, Pastor, we've been here, we talked about, you taught on the Truth series. Now, the Truth series, for anyone who has watched it, is enough for you to decipher psychopaths, is enough for you to decipher syncretism in the churches, to decipher.
To see through.
To be able to discover that this is actually falsehood, this is everything. But Pastor, you taught on the truth series and you spent a whole lot of
Yes.
time on it.
2 months or something.
Yeah, 2 months thereabouts. But then people still did not even discover. I mean, people still could not use that truth to discover syncretism in their church
Psychopathy
and psychopathic and paganism. So what happened? What made people now realize that hey, it's like this church. My church is actually paganistic.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
because you already gave them the truth.
Yes.
But they themselves individually cannot,
Cannot discover because
No.
that's
because you need to think,
you need to analyze.
But we take them by the hand and see. Yes,
That's what helped me, because I connect instantly. When you said truth and the words, and I know what I've been seeing already. It's just like the puzzle. You scattered this puzzle and you said, okay, put it together now. It's like I know exactly each spot where to apply all the information, because I was already having the need.
Truth, you went to the
psychopath. Everything.
Then
And
syncretism.
I'm like, one day I went and I want to say, you're a psychopath.
Ah!
And I stay quiet because they were talking about testimony, so I sit down quiet
In the
my
church?
seat, yeah. Because I had went,
You felt like telling the pastor that?
yeah. And then I tried to,
That you're looking at the pastor and says, this guy, you are a psychopath?
yeah. So they will be having testimony the last Sunday of the month, and I'm truly going back because I haven't gone back to say worship. And this month, the 20th of April, I'm going to be 62 years old. So it will be my birthday. So my birthday gift is to go at the end of April here, the last Sunday, to give my testimony and reveal psychopathic actions, cultism.
In the church.
Yes, so that will be my testimony.
So you see that you are sitting down in church, looking at the pastor and telling yourself, you are a psychopath?
Yeah, so before I say, I wrote it, because if you see my church notebook, every Sunday when they're talking something, and I see it, and I put a big star next to it, because that is not true. So I put a star next to it, and I'll be writing what they're saying. But I don't.
But that's what you said now. The truth, her eyes are open.
Yeah.
She sees everything clear.
Yeah, that's foundational.
Yes.
Yeah.
But most people still are
Did not
not
get it.
able to themselves individually even believe that my pastor couldn't be, my pastor is not part of. It is those those other strange ones that are behaving like that. Yeah, it will not be my church. It cannot be my church. No. I think it's some people who are bad like that. It cannot be. But then when we get to video,
When you started showing the video, yeah, and then you brought those people. Look at them. I'm not just saying.
Yeah.
Look at
don't be my word.
Not my words. Look at it. It was on. I didn't send some spies to their churches.
They
These
themselves
videos are already online. Look at what they are doing. Then people now saw it that okay, clearly.
You are still coming back to this book.
Yes, yeah.
But before then, let's go on break. We are going to go on break, 30 minutes break. And then we'll come back, at 9 o'clock as usual, which is 7 o'clock British time. But right now, we need to go and drink some tea, coffee, some candies, and we'll come back. So see you in 30 minutes. Bye.